All right, so there's a couple of things I'd like to talk about with the content. Are you guys still interested in the copper cell? Do you want me to make any more videos on that or how that's going? I know copper isn't worth very much, right? And if you're a scrapper, you find it all over the place. But there's a couple of benefits to having a copper cell. So I'll show you my next theory on going after those contacts, the silver contacts, especially with just the copper. I plan on making an anode with those. And you know, when we go to pull that copper, you know, when we go to purify that copper, we're gonna leave all that silver behind in slime form, and we'll be able to collect those. Now, if you aren't interested in that, let me know, because I'll stop making videos on it. But I feel like overall, we have nitric waste, which is why I really wanted to make one with the copper nitrate. I know that's not how the industry does it, but if we can make it work with the waste we have without adding anything to it, I mean, it's basically free at that point, right? Because it's just a byproduct of what we what we got from refining our gold or refining our silver. Now, other uses that we can do with the copper is, instead of just getting rid of it, there's still precious metals in copper nitrate. Not a lot of it, right? Like you're just not going to get it all out when you cement it with copper. It's like silver and gold, or however you go about it. There's still going to be some in there. So when you go and put steel in there to drop all your copper out to process your waste, there are still precious metals in there that you can acquire through a copper cell, like what I got going on now. And now you're not going to make a ton of money off of it, but it's precious metals. There's silver and there's gold, and there could be some palladium or platinum, or who knows what's in there. I don't think I'm going to get into much of into the palladium and the platinum, but the silver and the gold, it's there, and I want to get it. And I guess I want to take you guys along in how I'm getting it, and maybe you guys can come up with some ideas for yourself to sorry, I got the hiccups. Maybe you can add some of this to your arsenal, and there's a lot of what not to do on my videos, right? And so I hope that as much that some of my failures are helping you, because I'm by far from perfect. There's no question about that. But so I just hope that copper cell isn't wasting your time, because I believe it would be a valuable asset to the arsenal of refining, especially if you got stuff that's just copper and silver, like the contacts I have. Melt them to an anode, throw them in there, collect the slimes, call it a day. You're using 1 volt DC to transfer your copper over from your anode to your cathode, and then you've got pure copper that you can use to re-cement out the slimes. So it's like a regurgitation of your copper. It's not necessarily that I'm trying to make money off of the copper. If I make enough of it, maybe, but my main priority with that cell is to cheaply separate the copper from our precious metals. Because as we know from a couple videos before, it takes 1 milliliter of nitric and 1 milliliter of distilled to dissolve 1 gram of silver, whereas it takes 4 milliliters of nitric and 4 milliliters of distilled water to do 1 gram of copper. So if you can get rid of, 90% of that copper, you're going to save so much money in your acids, right? Because you don't have to dissolve all that copper. You electrically got it out of the way. At least that's my thought process with it. I'm not sure how efficient it's going to be, but I think it's going to be. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work. Now, when I collect enough big copper contacts, not the little ones that I'm doing another video right now, redoing it. I can't say redoing it, but another experiment with that citric acid, salt, hydrogen peroxide, distilled water with my small copper contacts, just to see if we can eliminate that. But with the big contacts with more base metals on them, that method will consume a lot of those acids. Where if I melt them into an anode, throw them in the cell, I wait a week, and then I got a bunch of slimes at the bottom of my beaker, and I can go right after the silver and dissolve very minimal copper. I imagine there's going to be some that falls to the bottom, but I mean anything less reactive than copper goes into solution. So I mean copper is, what little copper there is going to be there, that's all you got, and then it's precious metals. So I think it's valuable. I think it can be valuable, but let me know if you want to see more of it. I'll gladly post it. If not, we can find some other stuff. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.